about the issue of unexplained wealth, about suddenly someone just coming into a political office and all of a sudden he becomes a big man, someone who comes from nothing, and suddenly, just in a few months, suddenly he cannot explain what. Is our system so porous that we cannot check these kind of things?
After saying this on Channels TV, they came for Seun Okibaloye, and he was warned and he was told that he should shut down this video before the end of today. But I'm going to show you everything that happened in the video, what Seun Okibaloye said, and why Bola Ahmed Tinubu and APC colleagues are after him to shut down this video. My people, I just mean to stay connected to the very end of this video so that I will show you every single thing that happened. You will see that Nigeria is at the verge of destruction, because all these politicians are just doing it for themselves. They don't want anybody to see what these people are, what they are doing. They don't want anybody to enjoy what they are doing. Stay connected to the very end. I'll be back. See you soon.
Welcome to LAJUPOG TV show.
The home of crime scene.
It's happening in the street again.
The center of political news, celebrity gossip, religious gossip, and happiness in the society.
Join us, the voice of Africa.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome you back to LAJUPOG TV show. If you are new to this show, don't forget to click the subscribe button, the like button, the bell beside it, and also drop a comment in the comment section so that YouTube will notify you anytime we drop another video into the channel about what is going on in Nigeria, about what is going on in Africa, and especially what is going on in Nigerian politics today. Ever since the Supreme Court have dropped their order of declaring Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner of 2023 presidential election, a lot of people have been coming out, both lawyers, justice, politicians have been coming out and exposing Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Supreme Court of what the corruption they did that day. But Seun Okibaloye came out and with video evidence, with names and everything, he came out and exposed all of them, both the Supreme Court, all the politicians involved, Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, and every single person that was involved in that rigging of election. That's why Bola Ahmed Tinubu is against him, looking for him and trying all his possible best to shut down this video so that we the masses, so that we Nigerians will not know the truth behind everything that is happening. A lot of people think that how would the Supreme Court pervert a lot of criminal offenses? The Supreme Court pervert a lot of criminal offenses. They both the Chicago certificates, the drug criminalism, and a lot of things like that was placed at the feet of Supreme Court. But Supreme Court denied the Constitution, denied we the humans our rights, and gave Bola Ahmed Tinubu the presidential, the winner of the presidential election. People, I just want me to stay connected to the very end of this video so that I will show you every single thing that Seun Okibaloye did in this video, how he exposed Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Supreme Court, and every one of them that was involved in it. People, stay connected to the very end. I'll be back. See you soon.
Promised by Nigerians to the extent that Nigeria would have paid up to $11 billion as compensation on a fraudulent contract. What kind of situation do we find ourselves as a people? So much that corruption has eaten so much into the fabric of our nation. This is a momentous period in our country, a turning point in the annals of the Nigerian judiciary, as we bear witness to a moment of unwavering truth and justice. Justice Musa Datijo, a towering figure in the legal world, has taken a stand against the pervasive issue of corruption within the Supreme Court and the broader Nigerian judiciary. In a statement that is as courageous as it is unprecedented, Justice Datijo unveils a piercing examination of the challenges in corruption plaguing the very heart of our justice system, igniting a fire of reform and accountability. In Justice Musa Datijo's groundbreaking statement, it dissects the corrosive influence of corruption within the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court and the wider judiciary. Let me allow you to listen. The man was retiring, but before he left, he opened a can of worms in the judiciary and how the judiciary itself has enmeshed itself in corruption that is whole speech was published on China's television's website, chinastv.com. With a distinguished career spanning over decades, Justice Datijo brings unparalleled insight and unyielding commitment to transparency to this crucial discussion. His statement is a call to action, a fervent plea for reforms, and a statement to the resilience and dedication of those who seek to uphold the rule of law in Nigeria. His statement, however, reminds me of what Senator Tinubu said at the valedictory session of the 9th National Assembly. Take a listen to him again. I'll remind you of this.
Thank particularly my wife, whose freedom and independence I encroached upon while she was in office. And she has been very tolerant and accepted my encroachment and extended her help to my colleagues.
Distinguished, please, I don't think this is a good idea going this direction. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea, please.
Is he a statement of straight from the heart, or a statement of a slip of tongue? Because there has been a lot of controversy about what Senator Bukachua said about his wife, who was in the bench before. So that on one hand, about what happened between his colleagues and how the kind of help they got from his wife. Now, as if that was not enough, it was another moment of honorable off your mic. Another statement on that same event, it was curiosity. It was Senator Rocha Sokorocha who was speaking now to the Senate President at the time about how he's able to get back to the Senate. Listen to Senator Okorocha.
We shall all stand to say Nigeria is a great country. And to those of you, our colleagues, including you, Mr. Senate President, you know you're a very smart politician. How you came back is yet another political book to discuss.
Sorry?
I say how you came back is another chapter in our political history.
How I came back from where?
Mr. President, how you return to the Senate as a senator will open another chapter of great discussion in our political book. Because I was there in the field with you running for president. I never knew how you were able to meander and return and leaving some of us. Next time you must teach me how to do that.
It was easy. It was easy. I was there with you in the field, but after our defeat, my constituents thought they needed me again.
Justice Datijo did not go out of service without mentioning some of those cases he felt were cause for some scrutiny. But join us tonight. First and foremost, let's deal with that before we get into our main conversation tonight, as we delve into the profound implications of this statement, one that aims to reshape the future of the judiciary, ensuring that it stands as a beacon of impartiality and integrity for all Nigerians. I have tonight joining me a former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Professor Chidi Odinkalu, joins us virtually. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us tonight. I don't want to be told that.
Thank you for having me.
I don't want to be told. The other day that I was cautioning you about the way you spoke and on the issue of corruption in the judiciary, and I have a feeling that when I speak it tonight, you will be laughing at me. You were grinning when I called you earlier to invite you on this program about what you said, and I was cautioning you. But because you're a member of the bar, you probably understand how far-reaching some of these issues are. Were you shocked by what Justice Datijo said? So in all what Justice Datijo said, how bad do you think was he able to speak to the extent of the kind of corruption you think exists in the judiciary? If there is corruption in the judiciary, thinking that it's even at a higher highest level of the holiest of the holies of Nigerian judiciary, the apex court, the Supreme Court, where we all bow to as the last hope of the masses.
Now, Sean, if I may, let me remind you, or remind all of us, or those who are watching, when he retired from the Supreme Court in 2004, the Honorable Justice Samson Owaifo, who is still alive, had complained that in the 70s and 80s, allegations of judicial corruption were confined to the magistracy, and that by the 90s, it had appeared to have climbed up to the High Court. And by the time he was retiring, he was afraid that it had got to the appellate level. People who did not present with the intellectual capabilities for success at the legal profession were being appointed to the judiciary at the High Court. And he feared that these inadequate people were going to rise to the cream of the appellate court system in a short time. In 2011, if you may remember, the story broke. Two stories, actually. One was the quarrel between the then president of the Court of Appeal and the then Chief Justice over allegations that the then Chief Justice sought to instruct the Court of Appeal as to how to decide the case relating to the dispute relating to the governorship election then in Sokoto State. That ultimately led to the firing of the president of the Court of Appeal, and the Chief Justice then retired under a cloud. In that same year, the then Speaker of the House of Representatives was credited in a cable transmitted by the American ambassador then of having told the American ambassador that the Supreme Court collected money to decide the appeal in respect of the 2007 presidential election. I'm not making this up. All of this is in writing. All of this is evidenced in writing. So I'm just telling you I'm giving you a tale of the tape. And so what the Honorable Justice Datijo Muhammad talked about basically reflects a trend that has itself been fully documented, and the timeline has been reflected in the history of remarks by retiring justices of the Supreme Court over the past 20 years.
I like to say this with all sense of modesty and all sense of loyalty and also sense of patriotism, that the courts are hallowed in every sense of the word, and the courts are indeed the last hope of the common man. That's where you can run for cover if you have any issue. In fact, any arms of God, the arms of government, they have issues, they go to the court for settlement. Without the court, our society will be in trouble, in chaos. But then, if this kind of thing is happening, and the kind of expose that we've seen about some corrupt judges, which some of their colleagues or some members of the bar have said, and some kind of insinuation and inference that have come up about corrupt judges, because there are corruption in every aspect of our lives, not only in Nigeria but everywhere. But where you do not want to hear that the corruption exists is in the courtroom. How do we deal with this?
Well, first of all, we deal with it by acknowledging it honestly. And I do not agree with you in the spirit of honesty that Nigerian courts today are the last hope of the common man or woman. If you had said the courts should be the last hope of the common person, I would agree.
Are things that bad,
Are they today the
are things that bad? Is it that our
Yes,
courts
sir.
we're not able to rely on our courts? Are things so bad within the bench?
The courts should be the last hope of the common person. I will agree with you. Are Nigerian courts today the last hope of the common person? No, sir. We cannot be honest with ourselves if we cannot admit that the Chief Justice swearing in his son as High Court, appointing his son and swearing him in is a problem. We cannot be honest if we don't agree that the President of the Court of Appeal, sitting in the NJC, approving appointment for her son-in-law and approving appointment for the daughter is a problem. The least they can do is that when these things come up, they recuse themselves. Okay? That is the least they can do. Because being a judge is not a family inheritance. Being a judge is not a sexually transmitted condition. Husbands don't inseminate their wives with judgeships. Men don't inseminate their mistresses with judgeships in the bedroom. I am sorry. We have to be brutal with ourselves. This has got too far. And every time I say this, I get abused. But I'm going to insist on to keep saying it because the stakes are too high. The issues are too important. Ordinary people are being ruined by this. And we cannot continue to pretend as if we don't know that this is a problem. Now we are hearing it from the judges themselves. So it's not rabble-rousers like me saying this anymore. And saying, now, I started saying this over nearly 25 years ago. I quarreled with Justice Ebuebo because at that point, for those whose memories go that far back, Justice Ebuebo, I kept pressing on his case and on his neck until he was retired compulsorily. But that was the beginning of the problem. Now we have an epidemic. And yes, it has got up to the Supreme Court. And we have to acknowledge that if you have a judicial system in which judges of the Supreme Court are saying that the Supreme Court is itself in a problem, then you have a credibility crisis. It can no longer be described as the last hope of the common man. We have to address it.
I'm hoping to understand where are we going to start from. I was reading an article and there's an excerpt from a professor of law, Agbo Madaki, who said this. He said, law should be interpreted to serve justice. When justice is done according to law, it could lead to injustice because of the imperfections of the law. Professor Agbo Madaki, and that could be a jurisprudential argument in the areas of academics, but there are realities of the imperfections of our law. And I'm wondering, Professor Odinkalu, if you can give us a sense of how bad things are. For example, there are those who say they pay for judgment. There are those who say there are pre-conscripted judgment that are handed over to judges. Are those the case truly? Are these the realities? If you can mention 2 or 3 things, because an average citizen will say, why then do I need to go to court when I will not get justice? But what is justice in itself? When there are issues of technicality, is it allowed in law? If you follow the law and oppose justice, what is justice? What is law? What are those commonly perpetrated evil in the bench that we need to expose tonight?
Look, the NJC over the 20-year period from 1999 to 2019, the NJC considered just under 1,000 petitions against judges, and the strike rate in terms of success rate was about just under 15%.
It's so sad. But quickly, Prof, there are issues of payment. I mean, Justice Judiciary is saying that a registrar of the Supreme Court is earning more than him who is a judge or justice of the Supreme Court. In some way, imbalance, isn't it? I don't know how RAMFAC or how any agency of government calculated in such a way that the registrar is earning more than the judge of a very senior member of the bench. And another thing is, in fact, the CGN himself is saying there are just 10 justices of the Supreme Court left. What are we waiting for to appoint justices to the Supreme Court? They are already loaded with work, and I can't remember in the last 2 decades or so when we've had a fully complemented Supreme Court appointment at a time. I mean, there is always a deficit. Where do we go from here?
We have got to reform judicial appointments and reform them fast, very fast, urgently. Now, again, this is about politicians and their interests. In 2008, Justice Ogebe, who presided over the presidential petition, was quickly moved up to the Supreme Court. Decent man, honest man, great judicial record, but it set set a bad precedent. And increasingly, judges who sit on presidential petitions are now moved up to the Supreme Court, which again builds into the system perverse incentives. And it is these perverse incentives that we have got to eliminate. The perverse incentives that appear to make it possible. Now, we are talking about how registrar of the Supreme Court earns more than justices. But the same registrars of the Supreme Court want to become judges and go to the High Court and then start climbing up. If that is not a perverse incentive, I don't know what is. Why would they want to become judges if they are earning more than the justices of the Supreme Court?
Well, again, there are South, Southeast. They are not represented. That's one of the things Justice Datijo also said, and he said that it portends bad for our judiciary.
Now, the circular here, Justice Sidibage resigned from the Supreme Court to become circular here in 2019. He has not been replaced nearly 5 years later, over 4 years later. What kind of system do we have? I can tell you the story of how it is that he has not been replaced, but we don't have the time here for it because the details are there for anyone who is interested in following judicial appointments in Nigeria. But the point is that we shouldn't be there. We should have a quick enough system, and partly I've got to regrettably say this is institutional laziness on the part of President Buhari, because there is no way you can have a situation in which in 2019 vacancies existed in the Supreme Court. 4 years later, after he left, those same vacancies still exist. He must take personal responsibility for his failure in this. We've got to call him out for his failure in ensuring that those appointments were made.
The judicial reforms, I think most of it will fall on the table of the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, and the appointor is the President of the Federation, who will make suggestion to the CJN. Do you believe and do you think that these men will do right by Nigerians and their true conscience, make sure that our judiciary is rid of the kind of debts that we have wrought that has been described to have been now?
So it's not just men, it's also women. The President of the Court of Appeal is a woman. Her predecessor was a woman. And we have seen with certainly the immediate past President of the Court of Appeal, allegations of improper behavior by her husband under cover of parliamentary immunity. So no gender is safe in this whole thing. We are all messed up, all right? So if we're going to fix this thing, the only thing I can say is that the judiciary is too important to be left to male or female judges alone and politicians. Citizens must take serious interest in what happens in the judiciary.
Thanks for staying connected to the very end of this video, my great and wonderful viewers. You guys have seen the major reason why I will never support Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because to him we are all slaves. Nigerians are slaves, because I've said it in one of my previous videos that this is what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing, is what is called home slavery. You know, our people are the ones enslaving us, because every single thing he did since the Supreme Court gave an order and declared him as the president of Nigeria, what the first thing he did was to give a budget for him and his family. That was the first thing he did. He gave a budget for him and his family to buy fleet of cars for himself and fleet of cars for his wife. What has that ever been done in Nigerian history? That's when you now see that this person doesn't care about the well-being of Nigerians. All what he cared about is himself. All what he cared about is himself, and that is exactly what a criminal will do. That is what a criminal will do. I've been saying it in a lot of videos that I'm not against him. I'm not, and he's a Yoruba man. I'm a Yoruba man, and I'm not against him. But I'm just fighting for the future of Nigeria. I'm fighting for the new generation that are coming. I don't want the new generation to come into this country and see that this is what is happening, and they should continue to suffer with us. They should continue to suffer with us. These politicians will just come into this thing and they will take every single thing. My question to everybody on this that is watching me presently, my question to everybody is that what has Tinubu done since he has become the president of Nigeria? What has he done? Just mention one single thing that he has done that benefits you, that benefits you. List it in the comment section. What has he done? Now that's when you now know that every single thing that he has done is for himself. Just go and check it. Just go and check it. People are shouting that he did student loan for students so that people can see the student. What is the student loan applied for? Have you seen anybody that has collected that student loan? That's a question for you. So I don't just understand why people will now start coming out and supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu after seeing all these evidences, after seeing every single thing. Nigeria have to wake up. We have to wake up to the truth of it all. We have to wake up, because if we don't fight us, if we don't fight these people, it will continue to press us down. They will continue to extract from us until we are nothing, until we are completely nothing. And that is all what they will do. Giving us that what actually surprised me the most in one of his budget was he said 5.5 billion for presidential yacht. What is the meaning of that? Yachts that musicians, video creator, actors are using to shoot movie, to do party. He said he want 5.5 billion yacht. What is the meaning of that? 5.5, if they give every single person in this country 1 million naira, it will still remain out of that 5.5 billion. So that is, maybe we just stay connected to to LAJUPOG TV show for more news about what is going on in Nigeria and about what is going on around you, so that we can all together come together and bring these people down. Because if we don't do it, I said it in one of my previous videos that we have to fix ourselves before we can fix this country. We are the problem. We the citizen are the problem of this country. If we the citizen fight to the very end, we are going to be successful. That is what is very, very sure. Many people, don't forget to click the subscribe button, the like button, the bell beside it, and also drop your comment in the comment section about what has not been said in this video and about what Seun did in this video. My people, see you in my next video. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you for staying connected at LAJUPOG TV show. Leave the message up for you, let us impact you. So all we do on this channel is to bring to you prophetic words from men of God in America and outside America, from the pausing of Judy Green and Christmas, from the dancing of Bullock and Clement and all of that. So we'll update you with undiluted words from them and also their prophetic words. And guess what? Many of these prophecies are really coming through. So just ensure you subscribe to this channel just to get more of the prophecy in pure time. Guess what? See you in the next video.